What's up, folks? It's your boy Kenny coming back with another one. I just want to say something real quickly about the fiido e-bike, right? The fiido e-bike is not a bad bike after all, because this bike totally changed my whole what I thought I knew about e-bikes. It changed everything, like absolutely everything. First of all, I always used to think all the power your bike needs is to go up hills and stuff. It's all about how powerful the motor is. So if 350 watts gets you up a 45 feet incline, then 500 should get you up a 90 feet, and 750 up 120 or 180, and vice versa. And because of that, I've always hesitated for a long time before I purchased an e-bike. I dreaded this 350 because I felt the 350-watt motor would not be able to do anything to take me up an incline, right? So my whole thing has always been about the power of the motor. Power of the motor. I never settled for anything less than a 500-watt motor. Sometimes I would, go for a whole month. Should I buy? Should I not buy? Should I buy? Should I not buy? To the point I felt the next good thing would be to make my own, because I'm all about portable bikes. I like small bikes. I don't like the bikes that are like super huge. Even though they look good, I always think like, okay, if I want to go to another city, rather than going to another city and purchasing a car, renting a car, if I had a small portable e-bike, I would be able to, do what I got to do when I move to another city. So, but every once in a while, it's good to have an open mind. And every once in a while, you gotta have an open mind. So recently, I just purchased the fiido e-bike. I wish I could, since I'm doing this video, I wish I could. Maybe I should have just turned, focus on the bike itself while I'm doing this video, but I just prefer looking at my face. So, this bike is amazing, and I'm really thankful I have this bike. It doesn't have any gears per se, but it can, I mean, like, the real, you know, um, the signature part of this bike is the throttle, because it's not a very fast bike. So because the battery is really big, you have to utilize the throttle to do pretty much everything you want to do. And since I use it to do deliveries, what I do is I just use the throttle all the way. I worked 5 hours today, 5 hours in total. And in that 5 hours, I was able to bank at least 120, 130, 40 ish, minus lunch, because you gotta take that out. So I'll say maybe like 120 per se. And this bike started out with 5 bars. I went up a lot of hills, and I ended up with 3 bars when the shift was over. Throttle all the way for 5 hours, so that's like half the Now throttle takes demands more battery power compared to just using pedal assist. And the pedal assist of this bike is fantastic. If you just have one, if you're using, it has three-level pedal assist. The first level one is not that obvious, but when the power kicks in. It's a 48 volt bike. Now, I think, because I've always thought, all you need is just the power of the motor. But in terms of going up hills, I spoke to a lot of people who had like 500-watt motor, 750, and they still said they had problems going up hills. But until this point, purchasing this bike has changed my whole perception. There's so much that goes into consideration in terms of, you going up a hill. So much like not just the power of the motor, but also the power of the volt of the battery. This is a 48-volt battery bike, and I think the 48-volt had some power compared to a 36-volt because the inclines that I could not go up when using a 500-watt motor, that I am really going up using this 350-watt motor and a 48. I mean, I went up literally every type of incline and knob hill without any problems using level 3 pedal assist. Like, it was like nothing. I didn't feel anything. I just felt just a little bit of push, but there was no lag at all. The motor didn't strain. Like when I had like the 500 watt motor, like it would strain when it would go up like really really steep inclines. You start to hear the motor go, it's like it's struggling, But I didn't feel that with this motor at all. I don't know, maybe the motor has become a little bit more powerful because the bike is so small and the wheels are so small. So it has less to work with. I'm thinking that's the case here because when you want to buy a really fancy bike, fat tire and all that stuff, always know what you want to do with it. Know what you want to do with it, because if you buy one that's like 500-watt motor and fat tires, the fat tires causes the motor to lag, whether you believe it or not. And consider the fact, if are you heavy, how heavy are you? The motor has a lot to work with, and the weight of the bike too. Versus when the bike is a small bike and you are not that heavy, and the wheels of the bike are really small, the motor has less work to do. So all the effort can concentrate on just you going up the hill, whatever. But this bike has really blown me away. Like, seriously, I'm really really happy I purchased it. I thought about it for a while. Do I want to purchase this bike, or do I want to purchase like a 750-watt motorbike? But what my whole thing I really put above everything when purchasing an e-bike is the longevity of the battery. I don't like the idea of carrying two batteries. It's going to make it really heavy. Now, if you don't want to carry two batteries, another option for you is to buy another battery, put that other battery at home, and okay, you buy the other battery and put the battery at home, and when you're running out of the first battery, you just go home and swap. But I don't like that too. I like luxury. I don't want to stress. So that's why I like the idea of a bike that has a really big battery and I could just fuck with the motor all through without worrying about, my battery running out. What I really hate when it comes to purchasing an e-bike, the first one I purchased was the EcoTrick Fat Tire 20 bike. That one I did not put into consideration, um, because it was my first one. I just, went to purchase a 500-watt motor, and I did not consider the fact of how long a 14 AH battery would last versus my current one, the Fiido. It's a 28H. The first one I purchased was actually not a 14, a 12 amp hour, 36-volt, 500-watt motor e-bike. And I had to really, I wouldn't even want to fuck with the throttle because you mess with the throttle for 30 minutes, you see the bars go down, you start seeing blinks, you going up a hill, you start seeing the motor blink, it's just like there's always this constant worry that you're gonna run out of power. And because there's this constant worry that you're gonna run out of power, you don't enjoy the luxury of what you're supposed to enjoy when you have an e-bike. You don't enjoy that luxury. No, no, you don't. You don't. Because every minute, you are thinking, oh, how about if I lose power? How about if this happens? How about if that happens? Versus you just sitting back and just like enjoying yourself and not having to worry. It's like someone who has $500 to spend at a bar versus someone who has a budget of $50 and he has three friends. If you have a budget of $50 and have three friends, you want to be like, okay, don't buy that, don't buy this, don't buy that, don't buy this. Versus if you have $500 to spend, you're not even thinking about that. The guy with the $500 to spend, that's how I feel with a 28H battery. That's exactly how I feel with a 28H amp hour battery. Like, I don't have to stress one bit. It's like, I'm just like splendor, It's like I'm just woo, you know. So this bike has completely changed my perception. Moving forward, I would still definitely the next one I'm gonna buy. It's probably not out there, so I'm thinking about building one myself. It's gonna be really small. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it more than a 28H this time, maybe 26AH amp hour battery. A 26AH, and the next one after that, baby, will be 26AH amp hour battery is what I'm gonna buy the next one. So moving forward, I'm about 1 month in with this bike, and I've not had any major problems yet. I'll be updating you guys. My next. I'll be updating you guys. In the next couple of weeks how everything is going. But I think so far I don't have it's built well. It's got shocks, so if you drop from like a pavement, like a sidewalk, you don't have to worry about breaking some kind of component because it's got like really strong dual shocks, one in the front and one in the back. So you feel like something like you jumping in a crowd of high school kids and they just catch you. That's how you feel. All right. So yeah, so this has really blown my way. I'm gonna do real soon like a video just to show how riding this bike fails, like how I go just using regular throttle versus how, me just talking about it. I get a lot of praise, a lot of stares, people definitely want to, always asking me, hey, that's a really nice bike. I even had someone who was riding a rad power bike stop and look at me and say, wow, that's a really nice one, you know? And I felt really good because it means that my investment paid off. It means my investment paid off. So I'll be updating you guys soon. I'll post pictures just so you guys can see. If you hesitating, you definitely want to get it. Don't even hesitate. Get it and thank me later. All right. Get it and thank me later. So that's all I really want to say. Really, it's a fantastic. It's a dope bike. I have no regrets whatsoever. Today the chain came off today. I would say that, but it's just one gear. I think some work needs to be done. If I want to buy my own kit, the only thing that's holding me back from buying a kit is just like too many wiring components. Just like too many wiring components, and that disgusts me. Like I would see some people build their own kit. I think that's like the $100 and something dollar, 200 or 300 tops, $something kit. This all these parts are not that expensive really. But when you see those kids, they have just too many wirings. Like why can't they build them? Where all you have to do is just connect three wires and you're good. So that way, if a part fails, all you have to do is buy the other part and connect the wire, but into maybe some kind of outlet device, that's connected with the whole wiring system. But it's just my idea. But yeah, I hope you guys check it out. It's on Amazon. It's running right now for about 839, 826. If you guys check it out, I think plus shipping. Walmart has it too. Walmart has the same bike. You can get it from Walmart for about 8 836. What killed me was like I wanted to purchase it from I got it from eBay. They gave me a deal. That's the cool thing about eBay. You can get deals from it. So if you've seen it on eBay for 700 and anything, I made an offer for 700 and he gave me the discount, but I still had to pay taxes on it. So I ended up paying about 780 altogether. I didn't pay for shipping. It arrived in about 5 days. Versus, if you had to buy from Walmart or Amazon with everything in total, I checked it out. It comes down to about 906 because you have to pay for shipping. It's not a Amazon Prime product, so you have to pay for shipping, and they also charge you taxes on that too. So it's essential that you I don't know what your budget is, but if you're looking to buy like a bike in that range, I would assume that your budget, you have a budget. But really, what I would say in this case is really those companies that have a reputable brand, EcoTrick, Rat Power, those companies have a reputable brand. They know what they're doing. There's like mid-level people who are looking to spend. There are many, many companies out there, and there are people who have a lot of money that don't even want to mess with the Rat Power bikes. They want to go for something more low key that not too many people know about. So when they ride through the street, it's just like a white stallion. And I see all these bikes a lot, like uh the what's that word? I see all these bikes a lot and they're really, really good. You just know that those bikes are worth a lot of money. I think Specialized is one of them. Giant is pretty known, but I'm talking about those ones that don't you don't hear too much of them. I think Cube too. Cube makes really cool brand. Cube is make high quality e-bikes too, and they're not a very known brand. They're more high level in terms of pay and performance. But a lot of those bikes, the companies, especially the Western ones, they don't go over 350-watt motor. Like you're paying $1,000 for this bike, and they don't go over 350 watts. And you ask yourself, what kind of bullshit is this? How am I going to invest all this money? But and then again, the people buying those $4,000 e-bikes, they have a lot of money. E-bike is just something to have fun with. They're not worried about the hills. They have three cars in their garage. They can use those cars and just go up the hill. So they're not worried about that. But you who's trying to buy like a $700, $1,500, you have to put a lot of things into consideration. You're not trying to buy two. So especially in this city, a lot of people, that's how they get around. So they have just one bike and they have like 2 grand and they want to invest in the bike and they want to deck both sides, with bags for you to carry. They want to make that shit look like a traveling house, a minimalist traveling house. So, yeah. So if you're thinking about buying a bike in that price range, it's not really about the brand. Yes, the brand has something to do with it, but when you're talking $2,000 down, they probably get all their stuff from the same place. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these companies, they just want to make money. And they get all their shit from China, right? They get all their shit from Alibaba. So they have that shit shipped down. Those companies work with them, give them a brand, give them a logo, tweak a few things, So now people here who don't know any better think that those companies here are the ones manufacturing. No, no. Things are too expensive here. That's a lot of the companies that are based here. They're more low key and they cost a lot of money. Like that's the only way you can go because you have to make something here. You cannot afford to have a gigantic factory. I always used to hear the Eco Trick was out in Oakland, right? I used to hear the Eco Trick out in Oakland, but when I checked out their like their comments section, when I checked out their comments section on I think it was Google Maps, someone like was just like talking about them. Someone was ratting on them. That it doesn't even look like a warehouse. Like it just looks very run down. It doesn't look like a place where they manufacture shit. That is just, and I'm thinking you goddamn right, because they have that shit shipped from elsewhere to your home. You know, they have that shit shipped from elsewhere to your home. So it's really not, what it seems. At the end of the day, all these companies, every single one of them, they want to save. That's what they're trying to do. Every single one of them, they want to save. That's their main goal. They want to save money. And over here, when it comes to manufacturing, a lot of the companies that are doing great are the ones that started long, long ago when things were cheap. Long, long ago, or even a lot of the distribution companies, the distribute groceries and stuff. All those are very, very old stuff, with the same company just creating different franchises and distribution centers all over. But it's not like a new company, a new warehouse, except if you're a Tesla or an Apple. Your product is that. Your product is that. You know, high demand. So you have a lot of money, and plus the Apples and the Apple have their factory out in where Indonesia and stuff. You'll be surprised that even Tesla itself, I think Tesla is manufactured here, but in the future, Tesla is going to have a lot of competition themselves. In the future, Tesla is going to have a lot of competition. I'm saying future, not like long, long from now. I'm saying just a matter of like maybe a year or two. Tesla is going to have a lot of competition. And you at first it was like Benz was like the white stallion of cars, but now you got a Benz. Every company is holding their ground. You feel me? Every company is holding their ground. So you having a Benz, that's cool. You got a Benz, but all the companies are just like fuck, you know. So yeah, at the end of the day, all these companies want to save money. So they all getting their shit from probably the same place or two doors down. And it just adding in just a little bit of change. It's virtually impossible out here in the United States to um it's virtually impossible for you to make anything here, especially to a certain degree, except there's like food, things that have such high demand that people can't do without. So that's why they, outsource to, they have the real factories in countries that's like really cheap. And over here, they have something called like a ghost kitchen, because you hear about it so much, you think they have a factory here, and they don't want you to know that the factories are not here, that they're somewhere else. They want to give you this illusion of, the thriving business out here in America. But you just see like their office is just like one building, and you're asking yourself, like, where is all this stuff coming from? You goddamn right. Where is all this stuff coming from that they're sending to all these places? They're outsourcing from somewhere else that's really cheap. A call centers, all you got to do is like you build the line, build the communication link, and you can have customer service in fucking India. So that's just how it is. So if I want to build my own, I'm probably getting the same shit that they're getting from probably the same place or two doors down. It's like seriously, I'm probably getting the same shit from probably the same place two doors down or three doors down. So, but we've been we've been like we're so used to buying, we're so used to hearing about brands. There's so many brands that's clogging our brain. So we're not thinking I can create. We're thinking buy from, you know? So you could, have one company that charges $4,000, and you can have another one that charges 800 for the same. The one that you paid 800 for is just as good. Anyways, it's me just one thing led to another. I wanted to make this video about the Fido. I like this bike. If you're thinking about it, buy it. FIIDO. There's many versions that have come out now. But the main one I'm talking about is the one with the really huge battery, the 14-inch wheels, dual shocks. That's the motherfucker I'm talking about. So make sure. I think they just have the D11. The one I'm talking about, I think it's called. Just type in FIIDO 42 14-inch wheel, FIIDO 14-inch wheel, and you'd see what I'm talking about. Type it in Google 14-inch, but make sure you include 28 Ah battery. AH means amp hour. 20 Ah battery, 20 amp